Welcome back, everybody, to Fly the Coop. Welcome to 2023. I am here today with Kevin Coulter, the new director of our sales division with the Carrie Carter Group. Welcome, Kevin. I'm so excited to see you here today.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. Super excited to be here.
I am excited to share your story with everybody. So I think we should delve right in. I'd like you to share with the audience everything they should know about Kevin Coulter and your story.
Sure. So I graduated with a design degree back in 1995,
Amazing.
96, and moved down to the Twin Cities. I'm originally from the Brainerd Lakes area. And I was in the design industry for about 7 years and kind of got into the sales aspect of it, designing kitchens and baths and being on the floor with clients.
One of my
And
favorite things. I love
yeah,
that.
and I realized pretty quickly that I not only had design skills, but I also had people skills, and I love people. So that kind of transitioned into purchasing a small business back in 2004, 2005, property management up in the Brainerd Lakes area on the Whitefish chain, were most of our clients. And we had a home watch business up there, kind of a white glove concierge service, so to speak. And we took care of vacation homes, second,
Wow.
third, fourth, sometimes homeowners' fifth homes. Um, and had a good time doing that, created a lot of great relationships, learned a lot of thing about, a lot about small business, people skills, managing projects, managing people. Um, and that turned into, after about 7 years, that turned into an opportunity to manage an estate home out in Aspen, Colorado.
Mm,
So we
beautiful.
yeah,
Wow.
we sold our small business, and we moved to Aspen and lived in the home on Red Mountain, and we managed that estate. We had a contract for just about a little under a year. And after the contract was up, my wife and I decided, you know what? Real estate is really where we want to be. I've always had a lot of friends and family in real estate. I had clients telling me I need to get my real estate license. So we didn't renew the contract, and we ended up moving to Florida, where I had a friend working for Century 21. I also had one of my old clients from our home watch business, had a vacation home out there in Venice. And he talked me into getting my Florida real estate license and get into property management. He said, that's where it's at, property management. So I did. I moved out there and got my Florida real estate license. And I joined Berkshire Hathaway. There are three offices, Marco Island, two in Naples. And I joined their rental division.
Oh, wow.
And after 3 years, and a wonderful broker, June Profit, who was kind of my mentor and my guide there, guiding me through the craziness of real estate on the property management side. After 3 years, I became a top producer at Berkshire Hathaway. Over the course of that last year, I had a friend in Minnesota who was buying rental properties.
Mhm.
And he said, Kevin, you got to check out Renter's Warehouse. So I did, and kind of fell in love with their model. I also wanted to kind of get back to Minnesota and be closer to my family. Family is super important to me.
Mhm.
I didn't really have that, that work life balance in Florida. So we moved back and joined Renters Warehouse in 2015 as an agent. So I got another real estate license in Minnesota.
So how many
Um,
licenses is that now?
two.
Okay.
Eventually it'll be four, and I've kept up
Wow.
with all of them. But so yeah, we get back, and after 3 years, I became a top producing agent at Renters Warehouse in the President's Circle in 2017, and did a lot of mentoring new agents and helped out internally with kind of coaching and mentoring, and that caught the eye of the VP of sales, who talked to me about joining our Denver team as the sales director. And
Wow.
I thought about it and thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I really love this company. I love helping people and mentoring people and leading people. So I joined in 2018. I joined the team out there in Denver and became the sales director, and ran a small team there and kind of got the business up and going. And after about a year and a half, the position opened up in our second largest office in Phoenix, Arizona. And my boss says, "You want to move to Phoenix?" After I was just getting settled in Denver. And I said, you know what? Why not?
Mhm.
Let's do it. My wife and I don't have any kids. It was kind of an easy transition, um, as easy as it can be, I guess, moving cross country. So in 2019, later on that year, I joined the Phoenix Tucson office, our second largest office, and managed the team there, and grew that and got into investment sales heavily there because we acquired a company in 2019 called Own America, and brought them on. And so a lot of working with our retail property management clients, working with our new clients we were onboarding, these big institutional investors, a lot of mom and pop investors, and started doing a lot of sales transactions. In 2022, in July, I resigned from my position there because we had a sick family member back in Minnesota here. My
Mhm.
parents are getting older,
Yep.
and my wife and I again just went back to that work life balance. We're like, you know what, we gotta get back home and just get back to our roots. So we came back, and I took a little bit of time off. We did a little traveling. And as I was getting back into the workforce, my wife said, you know what? Just don't take any job, take the one you really love. And when I came across Carrie Ann Carter Group and started researching and following on social and seeing really what the brand and the people were about, I fell in love. So
Thank you.
sent in my resume, and Carrie Ann and I had a great first interview.
Yeah, we did.
And kind of rest is history, I guess, from there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So I am always so grateful when I cry, and it's rare, right, to find the synergy and the opportunity to partner in this business with somebody who's really well aligned with the vision. And that's what I saw in Kevin Coulter. I saw
yeah,
somebody with an extraordinary history in this business and an extraordinary growth experience, like your bandwidth and repertoire of, if that's the right way to say that, repertoire, the movement of your transitions that you had the opportunity to fall into. In some ways you drive that, in some ways it's like luck, like these opportunities are presented because you throw it out to the universe. I always say to the team, you put it out there and it's going to come back to you tenfold. And when I was looking for a director of sales, as I'm growing this model that we'll talk about today, that's what I saw in Kevin immediately. So I'm just so honored and so excited for 2023 because I just see great things happening and so many shares,
yeah.
not
You
only in
and
our
me both.
business, but
Yeah.
in the podcast too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we share that same vision. And a lot of our characteristics are the same in our philosophies. And my big one is culture. I
Mhm.
love culture. Surround yourself with good people, and great things will happen.
Yeah.
And just that positive mindset. I mean, I could tell you story after story after story of me just biting my lip, maybe
Yeah.
not really wanting to do something. I do it anyway. It's just kind of in my blood, in my DNA, and
Hmm.
good things come from that.
Right.
And I just can't say enough about just the positive attitude that got me to where I am. And when I met Carrie Ann, she kind of had that exact same positive attitude. I'm like, I want to surround myself, I want to be around and surround myself around this team and Carrie Ann in the Carrie Ann Carter Group.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it's been fun. Kevin onboarded, it's been maybe a month now. And as many of you have been watching, we've been growing and brought on another wonderful addition, another group of agents really coming into fourth quarter. And, every single person that we bring on board, my sole goal, and I know Kevin's as well, where we're well aligned, is their personal growth. The whole idea after 20 plus years of doing this, there's not nearly enough hours in the day to help all of the people who need support and help in the business of real estate, meaning their transition and their acquisition of whether it be personal homes or investment or whatever it might be, right? So people come to us and you can kind of tell because this business requires grit and drive and dedication and commitment beyond your wildest imagination if you've not done this before. And each individual team member that we have as an existing group and as we expand, they all have that in their own beautiful independent way. And watching Kevin come on board and be able to participate in conversation with each individual and just listen to that camaraderie and that excitement and understand the amount of time and energy, which is the very reason I have Kevin here, because there's only 24 hours in the day, right? And there's only so much of one person that goes around. And what I felt is I didn't have enough time to invest in each individual. And I needed that support out of Kevin. So I'm so excited for each of them this year. They have huge aspirations, and I believe and have every confidence each of them are going to hit their goal. So tell everybody a little bit about what that's like, because it is a full-time job plus. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And over the years I've realized that I have that emotional intelligence that it takes to understand, number one, myself, and know who I am and feel confident in myself, being authentic and honest. And that just resonates with people. And, not everybody, but the people that I've been hiring and coaching and mentoring over the years, some of them have become top producers. Some of them gone on to other things that have kind of used, what I trained them and coached them and mentored them on to lead to another stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
In Denver, one of my agents that I hired, mentored him and trained him. He actually took my spot as the sales director when I left. He's still there.
That's awesome.
When I got to Phoenix, hired another agent, mentored and trained him over the years, and he took my position when I left the Arizona market. So that's really what makes me sleep well at night, and
Mm-hmm.
get great satisfaction out of leading teams and mentoring individuals and coaching them. Get a lot of satisfaction out of that, and I think the team members do too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of fun, coaching and mentoring and watching them grow, and overcoming challenges and objections with them, and kind of living in the trenches with them, and helping them overcome a transaction that fell apart, or
Right.
getting a new client on board that's been on the fence for a year.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff is super fun. I was really good at it when I was an agent, and it's fun, coaching and mentoring and leading someone to kind of the other side.
Totally
So
agree with you on that. And it's a absolute collaboration that requires more than one person is not enough. With that need for growth and that support that has become a very complex business, in my opinion. There's just so many different layers that have built over the years, and the complexity, there's absolute benefit to the technology, I call it, around all business in the world, most importantly real estate. That's what you were doing, but it also brings a layer of complexity and an amount of time. There's a layer of time to manage all of this, and it's not possible as one person to do that. As an individual agent, even that's an overwhelming overwhelming thing, which is a great segue as to why I think both of us believe this team model has real relevance more now than ever before. Don't you think, Kevin? Just because of that very issue of the layers and the complexity to be a brand and to
Yeah.
be supportive to your client base is a teamwork makes the dream work on that for sure. It's a
Yeah,
big
100%
thing.
agree. Yeah, 100% agree. The team is really what makes the individual. If you have a good culture, you got a great team that creates great individuals. And that's kind of the exciting part about, building a team, and the culture is watching it grow and watching everybody work together. And with our business here, we have the sales end of it, and we have the operations side of it, and we have the social marketing side of it.
Right.
And then, of course, we have the client side of it. And everyone's social style is different. And it's learning how to really work with them. Your brand, with just being that full service concierge brand, is just a wonderful thing. I don't know where customer service went over the last few years, but it seems
Oh,
like it just died.
yeah.
Wherever you go. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what industry.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad.
So it's super fun to keep that client service high level, and give them that 5-star service that everyone used to get,
Mm-hmm.
and keep that going, and coaching and training, and having that team culture that believes in that. That's super powerful,
Yeah.
because that goes a long way. As you know, Carrie Ann, you built your business off of referrals, and
Mhm.
helping one
Yeah.
person leads to helping 10
Right.
of their
Organic.
referrals down the road. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a great thing about just having that mindset of that team and that culture, and really the client is number one. So
Always has been that the customer service component. I absolutely, you and I talked about this a lot, so much that is so the meat and the necessity in that in any industry. And it's so not out there anymore. I
yeah, it's
do
sad.
believe it is really sad, and we're
Yeah.
driven by it, and we coach around it. And there is no, I mean, obviously, all of the technology and all the lead generation systems that are a part of this business now, that's an expectation and has to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, everyone, there is nothing better than that organic one on one personal relationship. And it comes back to you tenfold over and over and over again. And I live
Yeah.
and breathe by it for sure. 20 plus years of business. And it was built off of those personal relationships and open houses and conversations in grocery stores and EFC, like all the different classes you go to and raising children. That's this business. And when you're
Yep.
passionate about something, it rings through. It really does. So, as you're looking at recruitment, Kevin, and you're looking at, because we've got a whole 13 county region that we're neck deep in, plus we do so much more that people don't realize.
Hmm.
I think you're fully aware of all those things. Why don't you rattle them off for everybody? What do
Sure.
we all do?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, building the team is important to us, and growth, and finding, that right agent that fits into our culture, and finding, not every agent is the same. I would rather have 10 completely different agents
Me too.
than 10 all the same.
Mm-hmm.
We have agents on the commercial side, and we have agents on the investment side. I'd love to bring on more of that diversification to our team, handling all aspects of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we do, on the commercial side, and the investment side, the retail side, the luxury high end side, the new build side, the first time home buyer side.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a great diversification here, and looking really to build on that, and bringing on new team members that can be a great asset to us moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of our vision and our growth.
Absolutely. A
Yeah.
lot of people. So when I started in 1998, I had a beautiful mentor. Her name is Mary Ann Bulow. She's still out there. I'm hoping to see her here in the next week. And she was one of the first female realtors in the Twin Cities in the late 60s. Amazing mentor. In the first 2 years, just that hardcore trench attitude and running open houses every weekend and being a part of every opportunity possible to put myself not only in front of mentors that have been in the business for a long time, but also clients. And I'm going to just dip into this quickly because it really speaks to the opportunities are there if you want them to be. I always say, throw it out to the universe. It'll come back to you tenfold. I met an investor. I got a phone call on a single family home, and it turned into a showing on a 16 unit building that which turned into a future listing for me that delved into an opportunity to meet another group of investors. And that year, between the years of 2000 and 2005, I'd maybe did about 18 million in commercial work, investment work, multifamily, single family investment, 186 unit building, just through opening up those conversations. Uh, Everything's available. And I loved all of it. Like a lot of people tend to go down a path and they get very fixed to a specific area or region or kind of real estate. Every single thing, I was just gobbled it up. Like I loved the Victorian home on Summit Avenue. I loved the mansion over in Kenwood just as much as I loved, the 16 unit cottage setup where they had these 4 micro buildings with 4 units each and they were ready for renovation. And I brought a design team in, like all of it's there for you. So you get into a community in a city and you delve into this and you build a team. There's so much business out there, everyone. There enough for everyone. It's just passion drives it, going out and being articulate and communicating. So the cool part of having a Kevin or myself there is you have those resources to dip into to help elevate your experience and help those people that you're in front of, whoever that might be, your mom and dad, your friend, your sphere, your church group. If you love on real estate, you're going to sell an amazing book of business and be able to help so many people. And that's what I love about this business. Let's talk on things like 1031 exchange, Kevin, cross-border work that we're doing. 50% of the population right now, everyone is, kind of right sizing. They've been in their home for 20 plus years. And we'll talk regionally. Everyone wants, like, we're in a state where people want a landing pad here. They want to have a home here, but they also want to go to a warm climate because we've got almost 2 feet of snow on their ground right now. They want a little break. So they want a place in Florida or Montana or Texas or wherever. How can we help people like that? And how can we teach the team to help those people?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't want to say thinking outside the box, but maybe thinking a little differently. For the buyer you're working with here in Minneapolis, and you show them 3, 4, 5 houses, and you finally find one, and you move them in, and congratulations on your new home, and you call them up one last time just to thank them, and they answer the phone and say, hey, I'm busy right now, I can't talk. We're in the middle of renovating our next rental property. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And yeah, we have 22 rental properties in Minneapolis. Oh, well, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Right. Some people get so attached and so fixated on kind of that. Let's get them in this house. Let's get them in this house. And they don't ask the question like, oh, so you'd be surprised how many people own investment properties, and not just here in Minneapolis, all over the nation.
Yeah.
And you get those calls. Now that I've seen the Colorado market and the Arizona market and the Florida market, and meeting people all over from every different market, being connected all over the nation. It's such a small world.
Right.
But yeah, you just have to really open up your mind and understand that the investment side of things is pretty big on kind of the SFR, the single family rental.
Right.
Multifamily is getting huge. A lot of people are kind of shifting and putting their money maybe out of the strip malls and the office space into more multifamily.
Right.
From the work from home model that's been going on for so long, companies are realizing that, wow, we're just as productive working at home. We don't need to rent this office space anymore.
That's a real thing, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of shifting a little bit. More and more investors are investing in the multifamily, and this SFR really became a thing back in 08, 09 during the housing collapse, and some of these investors started scooping them up and realizing like, wow, this is actually a really good asset class to diversify my portfolio in.
Right.
Getting 10+% returns on that investment. So it's a thing, and the big institutional players, of course, have really stepped up. But there's a ton of mom and pops out there. I mean, the institutional investors just are a fraction of the ownership of single family rentals, homes, condos, and townhouses. The rest of them are mom and pops that
Mm-hmm.
own between maybe one in 100.
It's
And
amazing.
so it's just asking the right questions on those, and just kind of picking their brain a little bit, and not be so fixed on, let's just focus on getting them into this house.
Right.
And which
Right.
is easy to do. I'm guilty of that as well. I had a client one time where I worked with him for over a year, and I was so fixated on his 19 rental properties he owned. I didn't even realize he owned a bunch of land until he said, I think it was a phone call. He's like, I'm busy. I can't. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm staking out my piece of land here with the surveyor. I'm like, oh, you have land too? So it's just kind of, asking questions and
So you
and
end up,
really opening up the conversation.
didn't you actually represent him on a land sale then in
We
another?
did. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
we got the sale. Yeah, he was actually thinking about listing it. He had the surveyor out there. And yeah, we talked to him at just the right time. Thank goodness. But it's one of those things where I could have got in front of that if I would ask the right question when I was dealing with him for the whole year, trying to onboard him as a client.
Right.
Just I was just so entrenched in his rental properties. I didn't even think about anything
Easy
else.
to
So
do.
yeah, I'm guilty of it too. But
So
yeah,
how,
just
I'm just my brain, me and my fluttery brain that I've got, Kevin. How many licenses do you have again? You have 4 licenses total?
yeah, I have a
I didn't even know that.
salesperson license in Florida. I have a associate broker license here that I just got on the last 6 months here in Minnesota. I have an associate broker license in Colorado, and I have an associate broker license in Arizona.
I did know that all of
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
impressive. That is impressive.
yeah.
It
And
is.
the the
It's hard
the
to keep
state
that up.
it is yeah, the state exams don't get any easier.
No, they don't.
Keeping up with the CE credits, some states are easier than others, but I wanted to keep all my licenses in good standing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mainly for that kind of that networking and that referral business that you
Yeah,
do. If I ever
absolutely.
decide to buy a retirement home in Florida, Arizona, I'll have the license. I think to me, it's just worth the couple $100 in CE credits to keep it going.
Yeah.
Then to let it go, and then if I ever move back and retire somewhere in 15, 20 years, I'd have to
Mm-hmm.
go through all of the courses again to get my license active again. So I
Yeah.
just decided to keep them active and keep them in good standing.
Good for you. That's
Yeah.
impressive. That's really impressive. So that's quite the schedule. How do you manage your work life balance in all of that? Like what's your thing that you love doing or things you love doing that fill your soul? What does that look like for you? What goes
It's
on with Kevin behind the scenes on your quiet time?
Yeah, good question. So it's family for sure. Married my wife, Leslie. We've been married 20 years, just had our 20-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy
And
anniversary.
yeah, our my my go-to thing to do to kind of relax and clear the mind, clear the head, so to speak. We walk a lot.
Mhm.
So I bought a Fitbit a while back, and I started wearing it when I got to Denver and then in Arizona. And out of all the years that I was there, I was averaging 10,000 steps a day,
Wow.
um, which
Okay.
which is about 4.5 miles. Now, my dog is a big inspiration and a big part of why I did that. But if you would ask me years ago, hey, you're going to do 10,000 steps a day for, 5 years in a row, I'd be like, no way, you're crazy. But you kind of get addicted to it. I find that these walks that I do in the morning and the evening are just, I see so many things in nature. I love nature. I grew up in the country. I'm a big photographer. I took photography classes in high school and college. Love taking photographs, love bird watching. Um, I still love art and design, and still do a lot of you know artsy, crafty projects with my wife. She loves to do that kind of stuff too.
Awesome. I love
And
that.
then I have a big family, so getting together with my family now that we're back in Minnesota again, that's super important to me. Family is really the number one thing in my life, on the of importance. So,
Yeah, it's so important to be able to, um, the time is so fleeting, and
hmm
making sure that you remind yourself every day how to find that balance. So you're giving enough to your immediate ecosystem, which is so, so important, your family, your spouse, your partner, your parents. It's just a really big deal. And I think something that is very coachable, like, because it's really easy to lose sight of that when you're trying to build a career. Time management is a big challenge out there, don't you think?
yeah,
Problem.
it is. Yeah, it's a huge problem for a lot of people. And if you know study and read and learn how all the successful people do it,
Mm-hmm.
they do it by living off of their calendar basically, and just they've really mastered time management. Not everyone does it the same, but
Right.
you really have to, really get good at systems and dialing in your calendar and
Mm-hmm.
kind of living and breathing a schedule and that daily rhythm every day.
Yeah. And I
Uh,
mean, all of us dip in and out of that. We try to be, I think we did a call with the team yesterday, and the living and breathing around the calendar and understanding if you're hitting that at 70%, you're doing good.
you're doing good. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can,
Heavy low
if you don't
flex.
have to do it 100% every day, but if you can do it at least 70% every day, you're going to be extremely successful. And any successful, CEO or successful entrepreneur or business owner will tell you that. And
Agree.
just have to really have your rhythms dialed in and stick to them every day. And I think the
Yeah.
the human brain is kind of, you know genetically meant to have structure in their
Mm-hmm.
life. It's not meant to wake up and just willy-nilly and just wing it every day. It's not,
Right.
the human brain just isn't really meant to do that. Creating structure relieves a lot of the stress and the anxiety, and it builds a rhythm, and you get in habits of just having that kind of that daily rhythm down.
Yeah, and we coach it constantly because it's, I think, one of the biggest challenges, especially in this business, that people do struggle with. I mean, I've got, when I get up in the morning and when I work out and when I go to bed, um, locked into the calendar, and it may be within an hour, but it's getting done.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have interrupt everybody. It's just part of life. Things come up with kids and home and family and pets and crisis with a team member. Things happen, but as long as you're time blocking the necessities of, we've got something called hour of power. We live and breathe by it. This time of year, at least 2 hours a day, I say to the team, 2 hours a day where you are talking and visiting and checking in and you know, feeding your people that you are loving on good information and checking in with everybody. It's an important part, especially in this business where you're completely independent. Got to
Mhm.
have that structure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what's your number one favorite thing in your calendar each day that you can't wait to get done? Like you're super psyched for it. What's that number one thing you love?
Well, the walks with my wife and my dog, I honestly I really look forward to it. Some days I don't. Like today when we're getting blasted with snow, my dog doesn't like to walk more than 20 feet. But I do really look forward to that and enjoy that a lot. It gives my wife and I time together, and I can clear my mind and clear my brain. Um, I really look forward to that a lot. But I love the people side of things, and once we get rolling here with the team, it's going to be fun to get out on the field with them and get into open houses with them. I'm going this weekend with Sydney to one of our opens and meeting with Robin tomorrow. I always looked forward to that in my past company. So I get excited, and like I said, it makes me sleep well at night
Mm-hmm.
and gives me satisfaction and kind of a sense of purpose. So I do love the people side of things and coaching and mentoring and just getting in front of people. Just love the diversity of every individual and their social style and how they work and just super fun to see that. So
Well, I'm so excited, Kevin. I'm excited to introduce you to everybody out there. Kevin Coulter is an amazing person to know, everyone. So we look forward to visiting with Kevin again at the end of January because we are moving through first quarter with big plans and we can't wait to share them all with you. So if you've got any questions, check out Kevin on social and reach out to us directly if there's any questions. We'd love to visit with you. Kevin, I really appreciate you being on the podcast today. Thank you so much.
you're very welcome, Carrie Ann. I appreciate you inviting me. Super fun.
And I'm excited to interview you again. I think there's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of fun things to share with everybody. All right.
very cool.
Everyone, stay tuned for next week's show. And thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Fly the Coop. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.